What's cold to you? 20 degrees Fahrenheit? 0 degrees? -5? Well, chances are whatever number you have in mind would be considered a nice day in the places we're about to talk about. With temperatures averaging -41 degrees Fahrenheit in the winter in some of these places, if your car breaks down in the wrong part of town, it truly could be life or death. Today on Across the Globe, we're going to be looking at the coldest places on Earth that people actually live in, and the lifestyles of those who live there. Number 8. Erzurum, Turkey. Located in eastern Turkey, Erzurum may be one of the most scenic places on this list due to its location nestled in the mountains. However, don't let this city's natural beauty fool you. Erzurum is one of the coldest places on Earth. Its location about 6,400 feet above sea level partially contributes to this frigid climate. In January, temperatures typically sit in the single digits, with highs rarely reaching above 20 degrees Fahrenheit, and the coldest temperature ever recorded here was -40 degrees Fahrenheit. But while Erzurum may be most known for being cold, there's a lot else going on there too. With a population of about 450,000 people, the city has a rich architectural history and receives numerous tourists each year because of this. For instance, those who visit the city might find themselves exploring Erzurum's citadel, which was built in the 11th century, or wandering through a set of 14th century tombs known as the Three Tombs of Yakutsk. Number 7. Ulaanbaatar, Mongolia. Ulaanbaatar is situated approximately 4,430 feet above sea level and, as the capital of Mongolia, holds the title of being the world's coldest national capital. Unlike some of the other places on this list, Ulaanbaatar not only has extreme cold but also extreme heat. For instance, in the summer, the temperature can reach as high as 102 degrees Fahrenheit. In the winter, on the other hand, the temperature can dip all the way down to lows of -44 degrees Fahrenheit, with highs typically around 2 degrees. This results in the city having an average annual temperature of about freezing. However, people here aren't afraid to take advantage of the cold weather. During the country's New Year's celebration, for example, which is known as Tsagan Sar, locals and tourists alike gather to watch a popular winter horse racing event. This city of approximately 1.7 million people also has a rich history and art scene. In Ulaanbaatar, people can explore both ancient Buddhist temples and contemporary art galleries all in the same day. Others enjoy adventuring through Ulaanbaatar's outdoors, as the city is nestled at the base of Bogd Mountain, which is the site of the world's first national park. Number 6. International Falls, Minnesota. International Falls, Minnesota is nicknamed the Icebox of the Nation. It's proud of its status as the coldest town in the continental U.S., so much so that the town even sued Fraser, Colorado, when they tried to claim this title for themselves a few years back. As you can see, this town of about 5,600 people not only accepts the cold, but embraces it. So how cold does it get here? Well, its location on the Rainy River, right across from Ontario, Canada, might offer a clue. Record lows here have hit as low as -55 degrees Fahrenheit. Average January temperatures, meanwhile, are about -7 degrees Fahrenheit. Furthermore, International Falls gets a ton of snow each year. On average, the town receives approximately 71.6 inches of snow, which translates to nearly 6 feet. Additionally, International Falls boasts the most days with high temperatures below freezing among all cities in the continental United States. International Falls is known for more than just its cold temperatures, though. It also is known as the gateway to Voyageurs National Park, where locals enjoy hiking in the summer and skiing and ice fishing in the winter. Lastly, the town also holds an annual festival known as the Icebox Days Winter Festival. Here, people celebrate the winter through activities like smoosh racing, in which teams of 4 people attach their shoes to one pair of skis and race against other teams. The festival also features snow sculpture competitions and illuminated skiing. Number 5. Winnipeg, Canada. With its population of just under 770,000, Winnipeg is the capital of the Canadian province of Manitoba and is located between Saskatchewan and Ontario. Being on this list, it's probably no surprise to you to learn that Winnipeg is one of the coldest cities not only in Canada, but in the entire world. And Winnipeg's status as being freezing cold has been consistent throughout its history. For instance, on December 24, 1879, Winnipeg reportedly saw temperatures plummet all the way to negative 54 degrees Fahrenheit. About 100 years later, in 1966, Winnipeg also saw near-record lows, hitting a temperature of negative 49 degrees Fahrenheit. And more recently, in February of 2019, Winnipeg saw temperatures reach negative 27 degrees. During a normal winter day, however, Winnipeg usually sees lows dip to about negative 5 to negative 9 degrees Fahrenheit. Its topography is a main contributor to its icy weather. Specifically, Winnipeg's location in the prairies of Canada means that wind chills can be especially intense. Surprisingly, the city doesn't get much snow for the region, receiving only about 4 feet annually. Like other places we've seen so far, people here don't hunker down in the winter, they embrace it head-on. For instance, residents and tourists enjoy outdoor activities like ice skating, snowshoeing, ice fishing, or riding the toboggan slide at Fort White Alive, an outdoor recreation area. There's also the annual Festival du Voyageur, which is Western Canada's largest winter festival and holds events like live music and snow sculpting. Number 4. Harbin, China. Nicknamed the Ice City, Harbin is located in northeast China and is the largest city in the Heilongjiang province. And Harbin is yet another city that embraces the freezing temperatures that engulf it. By freezing, I'm not exaggerating. In January, the lows range from negative 8 to negative 12 degrees Fahrenheit. The coldest temperature on record was around 5 times colder, reaching negative 44 degrees Fahrenheit. However, the approximately 10 million people that make up this area don't seem to complain about the cold as much as you might think. For instance, each year, the city holds the Harbin International Ice and Snow Sculpture Festival, which is the largest of its kind in the world. Over the course of the festival's 3 days, people can witness massive towers and castles made of ice and snow, and even huge ice slides. In addition to the festival, people enjoy winter activities like skiing and hiking. Number 3. Hell, Norway. While the name of this Norwegian city might bring up the notion that it's scorchingly hot, Hell is the polar opposite. In fact, this town is proof that hell does freeze over. The approximately 1,500 residents of this city brave chilly temperatures that average around negative 13 degrees Fahrenheit in the winter. Interestingly, the name of this city doesn't refer to its freezing climate. In fact, the name is thought to be derived from the Old Norse word hellir, which means cliff cave or overhang. Another possible interpretation is that the name refers to luck. But hell has more going on than just its name. Its small size allows it to be a tight-knit community, while its location, a mere 30 minutes via train from the mid-sized city of Trondheim, means that it's easily accessible. When the snow and ice melt in the summer, the town comes out to celebrate with a Blues in Hell festival, which draws music lovers from all over. Number 2. Yellowknife, Canada. Yellowknife is located 250 miles south of the Arctic Circle and is the capital of Canada's Northwest Territories. It was originally founded in 1934 as a mining town, but today it's known for something else, and that is its freezing cold weather. In fact, this city was named the coldest Canadian city in 2014, and that's for good reason. The average January temperatures are negative 18.2 degrees Fahrenheit. Freezing wind chills and huge amounts of snowfall each year can make this weather feel even colder. In fact, according to U.S. News and World Report, The lows here can make the thermometer plummet as far as negative 26 degrees Fahrenheit. Believe it or not, the average January temperature is nothing compared to Yellowknife's record low. In February of 1947, Yellowknife experienced a temperature of negative 60 degrees Fahrenheit, over 3 times colder than it is normally. Residents here make the most of the cold, however, and while these temperatures may sound too cold to do much outside, that's actually not the case. In the winter, for instance, this city of about 20,000 enjoys outdoor activities like hiking, dog sledding, and snowmobiling. Also, Yellowknife is one of the best places in Canada to see the northern lights from. People can witness the stunning lights of the aurora borealis from November to April, or about half of the year. Number 1. Yakutsk, Russia. Yakutsk, which is the capital of the Sakha Republic in Russia, holds the title of being the coldest city in the entire world. The city is located 280 miles south of the Arctic Circle in eastern Siberia. If that isn't enough to convince you just how cold it is, when you hear the city's average temperatures, that might. In January, temperatures are an average of negative 41 degrees Fahrenheit. You heard that right. That's the average. That temperature swings over 100 degrees the other way come summer, in which temperatures are an average of 67 degrees. Meanwhile, the coldest day on record was in 1891, in which the thermometers recorded a temperature of negative 84 degrees Fahrenheit. As you can imagine, the approximately 340,000 people who live here have figured out how to navigate these long and cold winters, which typically last from November to March. For instance, because the city sits on an area of continuous permafrost, houses and buildings are constructed on stilts, so they're raised above the ground. Similarly, water and gas lines run above ground to avoid melting the permafrost. On a more personal level, residents here know how to dress in layers, many layers. Some even keep their cars running overnight, as turning them off could mean that the engine would freeze. People also are accustomed to the constant ice fog that hovers in the air, which results from the fact that the cold temperatures prevent hot air from rising. What about the coldest places in just the US?